Hello, I'm Suzanne Herzog. I was independent candidate for U.S. Senate 2020. And I'm here with my relentlessly delightful and supportive partner, Jim Copeland.
Hello.
And I'd like to be at the gym with Jim, but of course we can't be there. So we're staying physically and mentally healthy here at home, and today we're inviting you to join us. Now, this is a little workout that's convenient that I've done periodically since I was 30 years old. And now I'm 52. But for this smoking hot 60-year-old, this is an unfamiliar workout. But we all know, in order to be able to expect better outcomes, we have to make different choices. Oh, well, now you keep going, Jim. I'm going to share something. You keep going. This is a little plaque Jim keeps on his desk. It says, if you want something you never had, you have to do something you've never done. And it's with that idea that Jim and I decided to make sure that this year in 2020 you have a real choice on the ballot in November. Okay, how are you doing, Jim?
Great.
Okay, now we are just marching in place. And it looks easy because maybe your kids in the high school band make it look easy, but it's hard, especially if you do it right. We're trying to keep really good posture, keep our core strong, and kind of undo what we've been doing as we've been sitting at our computer. We're going to start to use muscles that we usually neglect. So we're going to stand up straight. You don't have to march very fast. It's actually better to be high stepping with good form. What makes this workout really convenient is it can take as much or as little time as you want. We're going to just change our movement every few minutes. So I usually start to march in place with good form, and I keep this going for about 4 or 5 minutes. After the first round, when I come back to this movement, sometimes to turn up the intensity, I even do these little foot fires they used to make you do in track in school. But that seems a little tiring right now.
Yes.
How are you doing, Jim?
I'm just great.
So we're going to just march in place for 4 or 5 minutes, and then it's time to transition to a new movement. So let's change.
Okay.
So now we're going to do this. I never came up with names for these movements. You got any names for these movements, Jim?
I think this is Bob.
Okay. We'll go with Bob. We'll come back to Bob. But basically with this movement, again, we're keeping our core and with great posture, and we're trying to make sure all these movements are controlled. I'm really feeling this on the side here.
Yes.
Like in my ventral glute area. Is that where you're feeling it, Jim?
Oh, I'm feeling it all over.
Okay, then we must be doing it right. But what's nice about this is we're using other muscles that we usually ignore throughout the day. When you put your arms over your head, you're working out your delts and you're working out your torso here. So usually when I do these exercises, I have the stopwatch running on my phone, and every few minutes I change. So after 4 or 5 minutes of marching, I only do about 2 or 2.5 minutes of this because I think it's hard. Are you feeling it good, Jim?
I'm feeling it a lot.
Okay, so let's transition.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're going to do this. This seems like kind of a rocket kick. Is that what you're thinking?
It is. I feel like a dancer.
Okay, good. Well, basically, we always want to do the same thing. Keep a strong core and make sure your movements are controlled. But feel free to do a little controlled torso twisting. Kick high. Do what feels good to you. You know, those muscles that have been sitting around, they're going to feel great once we all get them moving. So again, we're watching the stopwatch on my phone, and we do this for about 2 minutes. And then we're ready to change. So now we're kicking behind us. I'm not sure why I came up with this. I think I figured if I kicked out to the side and I kicked forward, I should kind of kick behind me. If you want to make it a little more dramatic, or if you have a little dancing skill, you could try to do something like this, but
I've looked into it. I don't have that skill.
But actually, this is just great to do something like this. Now we're warming up because now we're going to pick up some weights. You got some weights, Jim?
I do.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, now this is a little light for me to do bicep curls, but I'm going to do this to demonstrate.
Okay.
So, still very nice and controlled. And actually even better if you do it a little slower because you're holding weights and you want nice, full range of motion controlled movements. You can keep your legs going behind you to make it a little more of an aerobic activity. But basically, you're going to try to find some weights where it's comfortable for you to do a set of about 20. So now you've done your biceps and you've kept your heart rate going because you're still doing these full body movements. Now what we can do, are you done, Jim?
I'm done.
Okay. Now what we can do is we can work on our triceps. Now one way to do this that's very easy is you keep your chest parallel to the ground and you continue to kick behind you, but you want to keep your upper arms just fused right to the sides of your body like this. And then you've isolated your triceps. Wow, after just a few sets, I'm feeling it in my triceps. What about you, Jim?
I can feel it. I'm just working on my balance.
But really, anytime you're doing repetitive weights or repetition, you probably don't need to keep moving your legs. If you want to and keep that kind of intensity, that's great. But if you want to do something else for triceps, try to keep your arms fused to the sides of your head, and do this with your weights. The big key whenever you're working your upper arms is to not move your upper arms, to keep it stationary, keep good form, and to lift things like this. This
It's
feels
also
like
good
yes.
not to hit your head,
Oh,
which
good.
I've done twice now.
Oh, I actually like the other triceps movement. What about you, Jim?
I like that, but
Yeah.
better, yes.
This is hard, but this only works well if you keep your arms really close to your head. So, with all these movements, do what you feel like you need to do. Really kind of own your body, take control of your muscles, and innervate the ones you're ignoring, and make sure you keep good form and what everything else you're trying to do. Oh, we don't want to cool down, Jim.
I apologize.
Gotta keep moving. So now we've just finished this movement with our weights. Okay? We don't need to do this, right? We decided
No.
that's not necessary. Okay, let's not do that.
It's too advanced right
So
now.
now we go back to marching in place. And that's it. You can keep rotating and transitioning through all these movements. I often do it for a 40-minute workout. What do you think, Jim? This is like the second time you've ever tried this with me.
It's very nice, and it's quite the workout.
What do you think? 20 minutes for 2020?
I think that's a good slogan. I like that.
I think that's fair. Well, Jim and I wish you the best, and we want you to be happy and healthy at home. And we're so looking forward to getting back out in the campaign trail as soon as things get better.
Goodbye.